and I want to create a list. So talk to me about the top 5 receivers you personally played against, starting from 5 all the way down to 1, who you think was the best or toughest, or the one you enjoyed going up against the most last season in the ELF.
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them out. I'm really biting, they just barking out. I'm really riding, they just parking now. His street, what to talk about. See the big H when I'm...
Whoa. Before we start this interview right now, don't forget to like this show, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support at Athletes Forum and supporting base coverage. We'll continue to bring you more content coming soon. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Base Coverage. I'm your host, Jamal Clay, presented by Athletes Forums. Today, we got a good one for you. We got arguably one of the top defensive backs in the league last year. Number 1 for the Wrocław Panthers, ELF All-Star Darius Robinson. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's good, Jamal? Glad to be here. Finally, we able to catch up, so I'm ready.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's been fun getting the schedule, but we all got different schedules. Hey, I want to get right into it. There's a lot that we want to discuss and talk about, but league started last year. You signed with the Panthers. You go through the season. You guys have a good season, make the playoffs. Unfortunately, before the loss to Hamburg. Head into the off season, you guys you re-signed with the Panthers, and you're someone who kind of has a rich history playing in Europe. You play for the New York Lions, who have a great history of winning championships. You play for the Wrocław Raiders, who are now in the league. And, the ELF will find out, or the ELF fans will find out more about the Raiders this season. Ultimately, I want to know, what makes Wrocław different for you, either re-signing with them or different from other teams that you played with?
I think, comparing to the previous 2 organizations I played for, I kind of took the same approach that I took with those when it comes to stability. I think this is one of the most important things in Europe, just hearing some of the horror stories. So whenever you do decide to, put yourself in a situation, you want to make sure that it's stable, they have financial support. And I think here, with all of the sponsors we have and all they do for the players, stability is really strong, and I believe one of the strongest in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, you guys really represented, not only yourself as a team well last year, but the country, being the only team from Poland in the ELF. So you guys really represented the country and your organization well last year. At least I thought, with how the season turned out and stuff like that. Now we're heading into the off season. It seems like the theme for the Panthers was keeping the core together. You lost some offensive guys, for better or for worse. But it seems like, with you resigning, with William resigning, bringing back Zach, it seems like you guys were able to keep the core of the team, or at least the imports, back together. Why is that? Why was that important for the team versus hitting the open market?
Well, one of the fundamentals that the management for the Panthers like to do is they don't like to change imports every single year if they didn't have to. Obviously, circumstances could change it if a player isn't performing or whatnot. But for the most part, like you said, when it comes to keeping the core, you want to keep that chemistry, especially when the players are playing together. And on top of that, just how well you mix with the Polish guys. Like the Polish guys, they're a tough group of guys, so they don't always accept you, so you have to really come in and you have to really fit with them because it is their team. Obviously we make an impact on their team, but they are the core, they're the majority, and, you have to fit well with their culture. So it was really important to, keep the chemistry together. And obviously, majority of the guys we brought back all was ELF All-Stars as well, and they performed well last season. Yep. So there was really no reason to replace them for the most part. And the guys that left, they had different angles, different things they wanted to do. So,
It's funny you mentioned that, because I think chemistry is huge. And, the Panthers, at least with their signings, the Panthers displayed that in terms of one thing that I noticed is that they brought back guys who have experience playing for the Panthers. We're going to put a visual on the screen now of all the guys that they brought back. But it seems like, not only was it important to keep the core together, but it's important to have guys that understand, Wrocław. They understand playing for the Panthers. They understand, playing with the guys on that team, and has been on that team for a while. How do you think that's going to pay off for you guys heading into year 2 for the ELF?
I think it's going to be major. And, just touching on what you said, even the imports that we are bringing in that have not played with the Panthers, at least one of us as an import had played with them somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that chemistry is there as well. And, like I said, I think last season we did have, a few hiccups when it comes to integrating new guys.
Yeah.
So I think this we'll be in a much better situation. So.
When we talk about signings, right, obviously, the players play, right? But people forget, like, the coaches are just as important. And looking at how the Panthers went with their approach, they brought in a lot of experience. They brought in a lot of coaches with experience. Obviously Greg Kubiak with the NFL experience. But one of the guys that I personally want to touch on is an OG in the game out here in Europe. I'm not sure if you played for him, but for New Yorker. Okay, you did. But your D coordinator, Dave Likins, talk about, the impact he's going to have for you guys on that defense. As, if people don't know, Dave Likins is one of the top defensive minds in Europe, top defensive coordinators, won a lot of championships. Now that he's with the Panthers now, talk about the impact he's going to have for you guys on that team, on that defense.
I think obviously he brings a lot of experience being, at Kalanda and all of these SWAT and, all these different great organizations, and obviously having so much success in Germany and pretty much everywhere that he's been. Number one, his experience, the impact he's going to have on us as a mentor. Seeing how he works, seeing how he studies, seeing how he prepares. And, obviously for a much older guy, he has so much energy. He has a lot of energy and a lot of passion for it. As soon as I walk in the office, he's up out of his seat, like something on the board, so it's really just good and motivating to have someone, that you respect. And, obviously he's a great coach, but he's a great person. And, he's all about football. He's all about winning. And lastly, he's always a student. And I think this is one of the things I most appreciate about him. Every time I see him, it's, hey, I thought of this, new ideas. And I think that makes him special.
Let me ask you this, kind of an all-script type of question in regards to Dave Likins and his defense and his defensive scheme, right? Probably after the first 3 games, a lot of people really stopped throwing the ball your way, right? They kind of understood, who was out there and that you were going to lock down at least that half of the field, right? With his defense, do you see yourself still playing primarily one side? Do you see yourself, going to nickel on the inside and being moved around, kind of like a Jalen Ramsey type? And do you even like that, or would you prefer to play left to right, or just cover the best receiver?
Well, I mean, that's up to coach. Right now, I haven't stepped on the practice field because of the league rules, so we haven't been able to actually practice. So, I think that's up to coach. I mean, I can imagine that I will be following the number one receiver.
Yeah.
When it comes to playing in the slot and stuff like that, I have completely no idea. I know we have guys that are more than capable if that was the case, because we do have 3 import DBs this season. And obviously we have guys like William Lloyd, who's a hybrid and can do different things really, really fast. So I'm not quite sure, but I mean, it's always exciting to be on the number one guy.
Yeah.
So, if that's what coach wants me, then, that's what I do.
Most definitely. Let's talk about the schedule now. Now, the first 5 games, first month and some change for you guys, we're really going to find out who the Panthers are. Obviously week 1, you guys play Leipzig, and we kind of know where that relationship is going between the Panthers and Leipzig, and it has potential to be great for the league and great between the 2 teams. So you got Leipzig, Stuttgart, you got Frankfurt Galaxy, obviously, who are the champions. You got Hamburg, who you played in the playoffs in the first round, and then you got the new team, the Vienna Vikings. So you guys are really gonna get tested the first week and kind of get a glimpse of, like, all right, who the Panthers really are, at least in the beginning of the season. What are the keys to getting off to a good start to make sure you guys get off to a right foot to start the season for the team?
I think the most important thing for us right now is, again, getting closer as a team. I think this is the most important things, obviously. And being in Europe, only practicing 2-3 times a week, sometimes, that takes away from the relationship a little bit, because normally guys will go their separate ways when practice and stuff is over. So number one, just building the chemistry, building the trust between each other, on and off the field. And, just one day at a time, and just wanting to be great and practicing like champion every single day.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think, we understand this, and, considering all of the coaches that we have brought in, I think they're going to make us a lot better. And, I'm excited to become better as well as a player, because that was one of my main goals this season, is to become better. So I think that's the whole goal for us, is just one day at a time, and, looking forward to the opener.
So there's been a lot of changes in the league, more teams, more games. And obviously a lot of movement this offseason, right? You guys were one game away from the championship last year. I know that's something that the whole team knows, and being that the whole team is coming back, that's driving more motivation into this offseason for the Panthers. The team currently constructed right now for the Panthers, right? One, can you guys take the next step, not only defensively, but as a team, to get over the hump and possibly push one more game into that championship? Or what do you guys have to do? Or maybe the better question, what do you guys have to do to take that next step and get the Panthers into the championship?
Absolutely. I definitely feel that we have everything that we need. And when it comes to taking that next step, I think last season was a learning lesson, and we had to go through that year in order to really see, because, when you about the national leagues, in regards to all teams, these guys have been champions for over a decade, controlling everything in Poland, so when it comes to now playing internationally more, because they do have experience in the CAFL, but now playing bigger teams, faster teams, more experienced teams with better coaching, I think last year was a great lesson for us to be able to learn exactly what it is to look forward to this season. And when it comes to taking the next step, I believe in my heart that we will. It's just us, like I said, preparing every single day and starting now and understanding that we need however many people are allowed on the game day roster, 53 men. We need all 53 men to be locked in every single week.
Most definitely. Now, I want to talk a little bit about you personally in the season that you had last year. You, again, after the first couple of games, a lot of people really stopped throwing your way. You got to play against a lot of different type of receivers that you may not have the experience only in the Polish league, right? So talk to me about, and I want to create a list. So talk to me about the top 5 receivers you personally played against, starting from 5 all the way down to 1, who you think was the best or toughest, or the one you enjoyed going up against the most last season in the ELF.
I mean, I played against some good ones. 2 of them are now in the CFL. It's hard to rank. It's hard to rank them. Just considering the situation in Berlin. With Shantavius Jones and the whole situation when it comes to what was going on up there.
Yeah.
But I definitely put him up there. Of course, he's just a freak of nature. I mean, he's long, he can jump, he's fast.
Go get it. That's Mr. Go get it.
And we're from similar areas, so his mindset was kind of go get it, because he's from the Georgia area, Atlanta area as well. So he got that mindset. Obviously, Anthony from Frankfurt. I know Jacob in the game plan wasn't to go my way too much, but, even still, I had to respect him every single play, whether I knew the ball was coming or not. And just him being on the field definitely, it put stress on me at times. He's fucking 2 meters tall. And, similar situation. He's long, he's fast, he's athletic, and, that's why both of those guys are now in the CFL. So I wish both of them the best of luck. I would say another guy, Quentin Pounds for sure. Just considering he's just so fast, so quick, and he can take the top off at any time. So you got to respect him. You got to come into that game with your legs under you. And Doble for sure. Just being a veteran guy, seasoned guy, a guy that knows football. You got to respect him. And again, considering I'm only 183 centimeters, these guys are way taller. So if the ball is placed in the right spot, you know how that situation can happen. Yeah. So me just understanding how to play these guys and giving them different looks and never giving them the same technique and different styles and different leverages and just playing that way was kind of my mindset when it was playing those guys. A fourth guy, it's hard to say. I mean, a fifth guy is hard to say. It's hard to say because, we played Hamburg and, they didn't throw my way many times. The receivers out there was good. The Spanish guy, I can't remember his name. Number 12. He was pretty decent.
With the dreads, right?
Dreads. He was pretty good. He was pretty solid. Canoodle, I didn't get to go against him much, but I did line up against him a few times in the second game. He's super quick, and I can only imagine that he's going to be better this year. So I would say those are my guys.
Most definitely. Well, obviously as a former DB, I agree right with you. And just so you guys, in terms of like the fans know, the short, quicker guys are way harder to cover than the tall guys. All right. Sure. There's too much room, too much space, and too much, reacting where the tall guys, it's a bigger body. So, all right, before we end this, last question, and it's really more so for you, but, what do you personally, what do you have to do to, what do you have to do to have an impact heading into year 2 of the ELF based off what you learned last season?
As an individual?
As an individual, yeah.
What I have to do?
Yeah, how can Darius Robinson be better in year 2 than he was in year 1?
Well, I mean, for the most part, just me personally as a guy that's been playing football since 1999.
He's old head.
We had to fill out these documents, and we had to say when we first started playing, I was like, man, I've been playing this game for a long time. But what I will say, what I can do to make a bigger impact is, man, just make more plays. Obviously, considering that I try to do everything that I can now. A lot of the things that I did last year, I wanted to be a leader by example first when it comes to that. So I think I did a great job with this. Okay, maybe understanding the guys around me a little bit more on a personal level. I think maybe I could take a little bit more time to get to know a few more of the guys on the team, and understanding them and their culture, and stuff like that. So I would say that would probably be the best thing when it comes to being a leader, when it comes to being vocal, when it comes to practicing like a champion, when it comes to how I live off the field. I take pride in those things. So I would say that would be the thing, just, understanding my teammates and the coaches that we got, because we got some new coaches. So it's a lot of new personalities right now. So
most definitely. Well, hey, man, I appreciate your time coming on the show, chopping it up, talking some ball. Panthers fans are going to be happy to hear from you. ELF fans are going to be happy to hear from you. I know camp starts next month, season 2 months from then, or excuse me, season a month after camp. So it's picking up quick. We're all getting excited. But like I said, I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm sure this won't be the last time we chop it up. Take care out there. And then, again, we'll be watching, and, we'll be tuning in. And again, we'll talk soon, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.
No problem. Take care, man.
All right, boss. Peace.
Hard work, they don't know about it. Hard work, they don't know about it. Hard work, they don't know about it.